Hey guys, welcome back to BackPocketGameReviews, and today we are going to talk about what are the best multiplayer games that are out right now. A lot of you might have just gotten new consoles, a lot of you might even be looking for something to play on the current console you have. So we're going to talk about my favorite multiplayer games, which most of which are multi-platform or on Xbox exclusively, because Xbox tends to focus more on multiplayer exclusive titles, whereas Sony tends to focus more on single-player story-driven titles. Not that either is right or wrong, it's just everyone has their preference and which do they prioritize. Personally, I like both, but in my free time I tend to play a lot of multiplayer competitive games. So, two of the titles on this list literally probably shouldn't be here in front of you today. One of which is Rainbow Six Siege. Now you might be like, what the heck are you talking about that it shouldn't be here today? Well, it actually started its life as Rainbow Six Patriots. Not that a lot of stuff was carried over, but certain parts of the project that was Rainbow Six Patriots got carried over to Rainbow Six Siege. So essentially it started its life out of a game that got canceled, but then also didn't do well at the start. This game was not very well received when it first came out. But Ubisoft decided to still support the hell out of the game and improve it and try to fix it as much as they possibly could. And now this is one of the most played online multiplayer games today. That is saying a lot, and as much as I don't like Ubisoft, it says even more that rather than abandoning a game that people had spent their money on, they were willing to fix it. I mean, they've had Project Health, they've had new operators added, all of your maps are free. Yeah, there are loot boxes, they're not going to feel predatorial, there are things you can buy. You can buy everything in the game, though, by unlocking it with points that you earn in the game. So it's very much similar to how Overwatch's loot system is done. Which brings us to the next one, which is Overwatch. Nick, what do you mean Overwatch shouldn't even have been a game? Well, Overwatch has actually used assets from Project Titan. Project Titan was originally supposed to be the replacement to WoW. For those of you who don't know, WoW has been around for a very long time, and obviously Blizzard has looked into, we need to start working on the next installment or new MMORPG. And originally, Overwatch started its life as what was going to be Blizzard's next MMORPG. However, during the course of development, Project Titan wound up getting scrapped, and the resources got recycled into what became Overwatch. This game has received an insane amount of critical acclaim and probably has, out of this generation, been the most successful new franchise to release. I'm not going to go in depth about this game because there's no way in hell you haven't played it. And just like Rainbow Six Siege here, both games have given you plenty of chances to have a free weekend to play it and try it. Both games have continued to support their game, and it's very rare that you see a game hold on to its user base as long as what these two have, which have made them two of my favorite online multiplayer games. I do play Rainbow Six Siege a lot more, though, now than I do Overwatch, and again, as I said, it was pretty normal for people to get into Six Siege way after it had initially released. Next up on the list, and most of you are going to be shocked, Call of Duty World War II. That's right, Call of Duty made a game list where I'm telling you it's really good. As much as I hate on Call of Duty's biggest issue has been that it's Call of Duty. Not specifically this one, but if we're to look at Infinite Warfare, the entire purpose of Call of Duty is it's essentially a Twitch multiplayer. And when I say a Twitch multiplayer, it is about quick movement and being able to pull that trigger as fast as you possibly can, accurately on your target. The first person to be able to react typically is going to win the engagement in Call of Duty. So, Call of Duty doubled down on that with Infinite Warfare and made it so you can now run on walls and you can do all this crazy stuff. And they made it less acceptable to the casual market. And I get it, a lot of people for some reason think Call of Duty is a hardcore game. It isn't. For the most part, this is considered to be a more casual multiplayer experience over most other online experiences. You can look at like Rainbow Six Siege, and you have to work together as a team. You are going to have to be tactical. In this, I can run around and just dump bullets and typically do really well doing so. But it is a very fun shooter for being what it is, and they ditched out on a lot of those different things like wall running, sliding, all the crazy stuff that no one really liked. And they didn't bundle in a remastered collection that you had to pay extra for to ever even be able to get because, well, this game wasn't one of the most hated YouTube trailers ever made. So, good job, Call of Duty. Now, there are no more games sitting in front of me, but we do still have 3 left, and those 3 are all going to be Xbox exclusive, so we are not going to take as much time talking about them. They, obviously, these 3 over here that we just talked about, the World War II, I keep wanting to call it World War II, sorry, and Overwatch and Rainbow Six Siege are available on all platforms. You can get them on PC, you can get them on PlayStation, you can get them on Xbox, but you cannot get them on Switch. Unfortunately, they're not on the Switch yet. And actually, we're going to toss in one more game real quick before I even forget about it, and it's Rocket League. If you haven't tried Rocket League, try it. It's a really fun multiplayer competitive game. It is not a shooter, and it is a very different experience compared to pretty much anything else you are going to play online. The other games we're going to talk about are Gears of War 4. For those of you who have never played a Gears of War game, it is all about pretty much using a shotgun effectively. And there are other guns in the game, but the shotgun is typically going to be the most popular gun in that game. It is a third-person shooter, it is very fast-paced, and it uses an awesome cover system, and it also has plenty of other weapons for you to indulge in, but you're always going to want to keep in mind that someone can sneak up on you. Next up on that list is Halo 5. Halo 5, whether you liked the actual story or not, Halo 5 had an awesome online multiplayer experience where all of the maps were free and you could buy certain cosmetics that were usable in the Warzone map that essentially aren't available to use against other players. That kind of experience sounds familiar to you. It's because it's very similar to Overwatch's loot box system, just way before Overwatch ever came out. Halo 5 is a lot of fun. I mainly play SWAT in it. Obviously, Halo gives you a lot of different modes to choose from, such as the most popular modes, such as Slayer. Or, for me, I prefer to play something called SWAT, where it is one shot, headshot, and a couple shots to the body, and it takes out the character that you are fighting against. Last on the list is going to be PlayerUnknown's Battleground. PlayerUnknown's Battleground is an unfinished game. It is still a work in progress. It is part of the Xbox Early Access program and eventually may come to PlayStation. For those of you who aren't aware, Early Access means that it is an unfinished game. You are helping test the game, and you are essentially helping them see what you do or don't like to create changes in that game to make it a better experience in the long run. The PC version of it started out very rough, and by the time it released, it is a very polished and well-made online experience. Whereas PlayStation is very strict on quality of games and does not offer an early access program, which is part of the reason why PUBG is yet to see the light of day on PlayStation. The developers already stated they would love to bring it to PlayStation, but that's obviously going to take time due to Sony being like an old man. For those of you who don't know, that's also why you can't crossplay. But guys, let me know what you think are the best multiplayer games. If you think there is one I missed, and obviously I stay away from fighting games because they tend to be a more of a niche experience, let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, stick around. I like communicating and seeing what you guys think. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll have plenty more content coming for you, and stick around.